Hi friends. There's a lot of talks about niching and things. Yeah, niching is very important. But here's what I'm going to tell you: the practical secret, a very important thing that I learned through hard way after making mistakes. The secret of what is the practical way of going ahead to implement the niching concept. So this is at the downright at the time of implementation when you are actually taking actions on the niche, not on the theoretical concepts or bookish stuff. The now niching is very important and it does makes effort, but the practical way, if you are starting new or you are in the phase of restructuring, or you decide that okay fine, I understand the concept of niche and this will help me, but then how should I go ahead implementing about, and you have finalized okay this is the niche that I want to be. Now how should I go ahead practically implementing it ahead it on it, because I have the bills to pay. To do it, does that niching means I should reject all other customers that is walking in? So these are things which I'm going to discuss here. The right practical angle of niching when it comes to implementing and going up ahead, and your mindset and the approach should be that you should identify, ideally speaking, at least three niche, not at least overall in general three niche. So these are with a mindset that these are the three niche or where I want to become famous. I want to be sought for expert over the span of next few years. So you're not talking, you're not giving a very specific deadline that by the end of the year, by the end of 15 months, by the end of 12 months. No, no such thing. Over the span of next few years, these three are the niches where I want to be famous. I want my firm, my organization, myself to be a sought for expert, and most of my buyers, patients, customers, clients coming from these three niche segment. But during the course of the journey from the place where I am currently sitting to the level over the span of few years where I've achieved that status, that I've become a famous, I've become a successful person in these three niches. Till that journey, I will be taking some more clients. I will be taking other clients if the other customers comes in, other opportunities comes in. I will be taking them. But these are the three niches where my personal proactive efforts, my marketing, my digital marketing, my proactive whatever fine tuning are done. These are for these three niches which I'm more focused on. Where over the span of few years, I would be developing, want to become famous and want more of my buyers coming in and doing something big about it. Why this is very important from the practical angle? The practical angle is this: when you are starting new or you are restructuring, you are assuming and going with a kind of daydream sort of thing. I want to become famous in these three niche because you have finalized it. You still are not famous there. You're not a big person in those three niches. There is a long journey of tough competition, ups and downs. You are assuming, so you are starting with lots of bigger expectation. When we start new, we often overestimate what we can do in a 6 month or 1 year span, and we underestimate what we can do in 3 year or 5 year span. So practically speaking, what if you are assuming that you want to be in niche one, and you are good with marketing or whatever, you have spend a lot of money on the marketing and that will work and you will become successful in niche one. But practically the marketing efforts have failed, and it was a very small short-lived success or a very mediocre success, and you are still, and your all the money and the investment that you had for the marketing to run the show have been done. So the right approach, practical angles is, so in order to compensate for all these kind of things, or what if you whatever you might be thinking that you might be doing something because you want to go and become big in niche 2, niche 1, but the niche 1 people, the customers on the niche 1 are not so interested in you. They prefer some another expert or some another competition. You love it, you want it, but the buyer base, the customers in the niche one are not immediately interested. Yes, over the span of a few years, 2 years, 3 year, 4 year of efforts, you can become big and you can become very successful in that niche one. But as on immediate basis, the customer base of the niche one are not so interested in you. What if this kind of thing happens? So, can you say to your in such a case, practically speaking, you will have bill spending all the time. You will have your own personal living expenses, your own food, grocery, utility, all these things, your office related administrative expenses, your marketing expenses, your secretary assistant, staff related expenses, and all these things will be coming in. And when we start new, or when we are start with restructuring, and when we have all these niche related ideas, oh, that's great side, everyone is doing, so let me also try it. Absolutely, you must. But the right approach should be, dude, these are the three niches where I want to become famous over next few years, but I need to pay the bills first. So I need to pay the monthly bills, whatever is my monthly commitment, financial commitments, I need to pay them first. So I will be, during this course of journey from here till over the span of few years, next few years, till I become big in these three niches, right? Uh, I will be taking other customers also in between. If the other customers comes in, I might be taking the other customers also, and as a backup option. So maybe there are some cyclic ups and downs. There's slack season that comes in the niche one. The niche one is not so interested. In I have a very tough competition fighting in the niche one era where I want to be, but as of now there is very severe competition. So it will take me 3-4 years. So by that time, niche 2, niche 3, and some another customers would be coming in. So that's why all these three is where I want to be, and that manages the cyclic ups and downs, the slack season, the troubles coming in. And our mental attitude, we are still focused, you are still open, you are understanding the practical realities that you need to pay the monthly bills, the monthly financial commitments, utilities part first. So you are still on the journey towards making big in these three niches which you have chosen, right? And you are practically including the cyclic ups and downs, the slack season, in case the worst case scenario if the other person are not interested. And you are also open to opportunities that temporarily, if the some other customers is coming in, so you will be actually catering to other customers other than these three niches. But over the span of long term, few years, you are very clear that these are the three niches: niche 1, niche 2, niche 3, where you want to become famous. Your firm your firm want to become famous as a vision, as a leader. So this, the practical angle, the point here was the practical angle. When you actually come to implement the niche angle, or this theoretical concept of the niche, to the practical grassroots level, at the street level implementation, you need to include the practical angle, that you need to pay the bills first and all the financial commitment. And this entire idea of being established in a niche will take years. It won't happen all of a sudden, and it will take, and there might be a lot of ups and downs, slack season, tough competition during this journey. That doesn't mean that we have to completely leave the idea of niching. Just that in order to manage and compensate for all these ups and downs, there are three niches where you choose to focus on all your marketing and proactive efforts. And at the same time, you are open to the possibility of having customers from other segments also. But your proactive efforts, your marketing efforts, your digital marketing efforts, whatever time, efforts, money you are proactively putting in, are more focused over these three niches to manage the ups and downs, and cyclic ups and downs, and a slack season, competition factor, and all such things, so that you are still very much on the track with the mental attitude that you will be open to have customers from some other industries and other places also, as and when the opportunities, as and when, depending upon how the journey goes on. But and you are still very focused that you are going to be big over the niching thing. The only practical angle is, instead of focusing on one niche, you are including three niches, and still mentally prepared that you will be taking customers, open to receive customers as per the journey, and but the priorities will be these three niches. So that I hope I was able to communicate all the point. And this thing is very important, because from the practical angle, you need to pay the bills first, and the idea of establishing yourself as a big gun in the niching can take very long. It doesn't happen immediately. It's a brilliant idea. I personally have done it with the Dr. Zero Cost Ethical Marketing. Niching is a brilliant strategy, but understand, practically being established as a strong footing inside that, it doesn't happen immediately. It takes very long time. It can take a significant long time. So, and lots of efforts, lots of trial and error efforts. So at that entire time, you need to pay the bills, you need to be motivated, and often being established in a niche as a strong leader, as an expert, is not an easy-going task. It's a very competitive task. It becomes competitive because if the niche is very attractive and lucrative, very profitable, many other competitors at the same time, if you have started making some initial success, other competitors also start taking interest in it, and they jump in inside the niche because you are making successful, you are becoming success in that niche, right? So other competitors also then jump in. So these kind of things practically always happen and will always happen. So all these things we need to include in our mental calculations. So that is why from theory angle, the niching is very important. From the practical angle, you need to include three niches. So these are the three niches where you want to be successful over the period of few years. So not very short span, not a very strict deadline, and at the same time you are willing to accept customers from other industries also, as per the journey, howsoever journey goes. But the preference and of your preference and your own proactive marketing efforts have to be focused over these three niche, because you need to pay the bills part first to sustain that long journey of many years to become big guns and become famous and experts in these three niches that you have chosen to. Hope this was interesting. Thank you very much for your time.